Well, good morning, everybody. I'm back again. It's Robert Phoenix, broadcasting you live from the Hill Country. Right around what do we got here? 9:13 in the morning. So I always shoot for 8:45, and then I usually wind up at about between 9:10 and 9:15. But hey, look, I'm here, you're here, we're here, and let's make the best of it. We got introspective woodworker and DJ MC showing up. Well, right on time on my time. Miranda Couch, what's going on, Miranda? Nice to see you. Good morning to you. And we're going to let the seats in the auditorium populate. There's Mary Grether. What's going on, Mary? Lee Michelle, Victoria V, Double V in the house. Double V in the house. What's going on? Marie Olmstead. Nice. You got a lot to talk about today. Holy smokes. We got breaking news. Good morning, Judy. Good to see you, Christy Tesmer. There you are. Joan S. Zero Dragon, 10 Dragon. Michelle R. What's going on, Michelle R? Good to see you. Welcome. Laura D. What's going on, Laura? FUP77. Good morning to you. What's happening? PB. There you are. Welcome, 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 welcome. Carrie Rose in the house. There's Lils. Hi, Lils. Good to see you. 33 people. The Magic 33. Magic Real Catalyst. All right. Chiming in on the live chat. Maury DeMare. Yes, we're going to talk about Steve Bannon. PMSO LLC. Morning to you. What's going on there? Nice to see you. Got about 38. Do we have any mods in yet? We have any mod sightings? Uncle Glenn chiming in from the 5th Ward of the Lunatic Asylum. Astrology with Heather. Hey, what's going on, Heather? Nice to see you. Welcome. Kathy Steen here. Natasha Lloyd. What's happening, Natasha? Then we got a jumpy spider sighting. Let me see. Or maybe it's one of those little baby scorpions. Is Steve Bannon the major arrest Trump was talking about? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, no mods in the house yet. I want the mods to kind of, hey, Frank, what's going on? Chana Miriam, good to see you. We'll get rolling when the mods show up. Got a lot to talk about today. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, if you feel like hitting that like button, hit that like button. We had a lot of people liking yesterday's show. I think it was the first show where I had 0 dislikes. Maybe it was because I had such a happy or positive ending to the show. There's Carolina in the Pines. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Leanne's checking in from the lovely, lovely state of Michigan. What's going on? Sandpoint, Idaho, nixed the mask mandate last night. Good. I got news on the mask stuff. I got some interesting mask data, some interesting mask updates. There's Joe Mama. Nice to see you, Joe. Double Joes back to back. Joe and Joe Dimitri and Joe Mama. So we have JoJo's in the house. Welcome. Diana Young, there she is. So here we go. We got an APB for some mods here. We're looking for one of our mods, any of our mods. Ani, Steve, Kestrel. I haven't seen Ivan lately. Hope he's okay. Lisa, today's the day. I promise. Today is the day. Today is the day. I promise. I'm going to do the first thing I do, Lisa, when I end this show is I'm going to reach out to you, okay? Today's the day. I promise. Promise. Let's see. Anybody else coming in? It'd be great if we had a mod or two show up. That'd be a good thing. Sweden still refuses the mask. They have the data that says it's okay. Yeah, you know why? Because Sweden is a socialist country already, and they decided that they were going to take on as many so-called refugees as the UN demanded that they would. So they're being rewarded. You've been a nice little socialist refugee welcoming country. You can play your game by your own rules. No mods today. Anarchy. I guess so, huh? We're going to find out what self rule's all about today. Apparently, Anna Erickson, nice to see you. I suppose I could go in and deputize somebody. Maybe I'll do that. Let me see. Let me go into the YouTube app. Let me see what we got here. Go into YouTube. See if I can just go ahead and deputize somebody. It's always good to have a mod in the house. I got to go back to that one link because that was a really cool link that I got to play you guys. That'll be the upbeat story at the end. I've already picked out my upbeat story. All right, let's see. Who can I make a mod? Let's see. As soon as chat pops up, I'm going to deputize somebody. On the fly. Let's see. Let's see. Who can I deputize? I know exactly who I want to deputize. Don't worry, Heather. It's not you. It is not you. Let's see. Who can I get here? Let's see. Hold on one moment. Just going to do a little business. There we go. Uncle Glenn, you're a moderator. You got a wrench. And let's do another one here for today. Who do I want? Maury, you're a mod. There we go. All right, so Maury and Glenn, you're on the clock for today. You're standing. You've been deputized. And I'll tell you what. Let's do one more. Let's get through. Oh, there's Ani. Hi, Ani. Good to see you. And so we got 3 mods now. Uncle Glenn, you're a mod, and Maury, you're a mod, and Ani, of course, holding down the fort. Way to go. All right, we got that taken care of. Very good. All right, let me get back to this other link, which is fantastic. You guys are going to get blown away by this link. All right. So there we go. Good job. Nice to see you, Om. Welcome to the show. Tamara Garth, good to see you. Way to be here. Thank you. La Gitan. All right. La Gitan sighting. All right, let's get rolling here. I'm just going to step aside. You just get your daily dose. Get that daily dose right there. Just wanting to permeate and penetrate through the atmosphere, down through the leaves, right into the center of your eyes, right into your third eye, straight down into your heart. There it is. Let's go. Dear blessed and holy Father, Mother God of the great central sun, within the universal light, which is the light of Yeshua, Son of Emmanuel. We ask that only the highest and best wisdom and truth come through this channel at this time, and that we are graced and blessed by the qualities of fortitude, endurance, commitment, love, flexibility, compassion, empathy, discernment, response, intellect, humor, and above all, love. We ask that any karmic residue be clarified, purified, and cleansed away so that we may return to our life sovereign as we were when we entered. So be it. All right. Let's get cracking. communitarian, contra-communitarian in the house. Right on. Nice to see you, squirrel. Okay, so what's the big news? I guess we're going to start with the big news, the breaking news. Steve Bannon. Let's get into this thing. It's just happening right now, so I got to pull it up. Where are we? So much to cover. All right, so this is a really interesting story, and I'm going to try, perhaps maybe even try to link this thing up to Shadowgate. See if I can do that. I'm just getting, everybody's finding this out. So, all right, now here's the details. This is what we know. So, former Trump advisor Steve Bannon arrested on charges of defrauding donors in fundraising scheme. Now, what this is referring to is the build the wall. Build the wall. These are people that said, listen, we're going to build a fucking wall, and we're going to get the money together and do it. And they actually built some wall. It wasn't like they didn't build the wall. So I'm going to read this to you, and then you're going to see who's involved here and why I think that this arrest is troubling. Former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon has been arrested after being charged with defrauding hundreds of thousands of donors through their campaign, We Build the Wall. Bannon, along with 3 of his associates, were indicted by investigators at the U.S. Southern District of New York. Okay, so this is a really important detail. So the U.S. Southern District of New York has been running essentially anti-Trump arrests, or they've been running anti-Trump arraignments or anti-Trump indictments. This is the district court that is run by Cy Vance. This is the district court that dealt with Jeffrey Epstein. It is dealing with Ghislaine Maxwell, by the way. Just remember that. Remember who's doing the arresting here. It's no mistake that also the DA of New York has decided that she has she decided that she was going to put Trump in her crosshairs. Like that was going to be her big whale. She recently decided to sue the NRA and basically invalidate the NRA status as a nonprofit organization and, for all intents and purposes, unconstitutional. So New York and the Southern District has become a wrecking ball. A lot of people are thinking, well, this is Bill Barr. I don't know if that's the case. This is the U.S. Southern District of New York has basically become its own police force, arraignment, and adjudicative body. Like, I think that they talk about activist judges or rogue judges. This is an entire court that has gone rogue. And Steve Bannon now has been theoretically arrested. Let's keep going here. They allege, the word allege, that the group of conservative leaders defrauded donors that led to raising more than $25 million to build a wall along the southern border of the United States. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The United States Postal Inspection Service assisted in the investigation. This is interesting because there seems to be a great deal of controversy now with the USPS. And apparently, I didn't really follow up on the testimony by who was it, Louis DeJoy, who is the Postmaster General. But apparently, he did not represent Trump all that well when it came to supporting Trump with not being able to get these so-called mail-in ballots in on time. So DeJoy, while he didn't do a 180, he might have done a bit of a 90. And now we're really talking a lot about the USPS and the Postmaster General. And this is quite interesting, particularly in the light of some of the information that's come out with Russell J. Gould, who I really want to have on my show. I really want to get that guy on my show because according to Russell J. Gould, he is a Postmaster General of the United States. And the Postmaster General of the United States is one of the most powerful people, not only in the United States, but the world. Okay. So now we have the USPIS that assisted in the investigation. The others mentioned are Timothy Shea, who in May was announced as the acting administrator of the DEA. Wow. How about that? So now they're going after Trump people. Like this guy works the DEA. This guy theoretically is involved in what? Cracking down on drug cartels. Where are they? They're at the border. The other guy that's of interest here is Brian Colfage. He's the guy that's got the rifle coffee company. You know, he's the vet that lost an eye and lost a leg, and his coffee is very, very popular, by the way. So he was part of that group. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So now we have somebody inside the Trump administration. We have a Trump associate. The relationship between Bannon and Trump, to me, is an interesting one. Because Bannon, I believe, I think he was pretty instrumental in helping Trump get elected. I don't think it's as his feat was as great as Steve Bannon thinks it was, but he was instrumental. Steve Bannon was really looking at a candidate who would appear to be or represent people as being a populist candidate. And that's why he found Trump to be compelling, because Steve Bannon basically is a center-right Democrat. Steve Bannon came from a working-class family. He's from Norfolk, Virginia. I think he was associated with his father. Well, if I'm not mistaken, his father was a union guy. So Steve Bannon has a pretty strong affiliation with unions. And but not in the same way that, say, Alicia Garza does. I don't think for Steve Bannon it's unions or bust. And with Alicia Garza, it is unions or bust. But that was Steve Bannon's background. He went into the Navy, and he served in the Navy under Jimmy Carter, and that's when he realized how corrupt the game is and what a essentially weak person and really poor President Carter was at the time. And looking back in history, he certainly was, for all of his well-intentioned trilateral commission orders that he took. So Bannon decided that he was going to go make a lot of money. I think he went back to school, and I think he studied finance or got an MBA. And then he went to New York and he went to work for Goldman Sachs. And he did probably pretty well for himself. And that's where he got involved in Hollywood and started to invest in projects. I think he had some stake in Seinfeld, a few other things. And his big backers were the Mercer family out of Florida. And, when Andrew Breitbart was, I think, killed, Steve Bannon took over Breitbart. And the Mercers, helped Bannon with Breitbart. They helped Bannon with a lot of other things. And they became donors for the Trump campaign. So this interstitial series of relationships with Bannon and Trump and the donors and Goldman Sachs, you look at, who surrounds Trump and his administration. It's Goldman Sachs people. Steve Mnuchin. Wilbur Ross, I think, did have a relationship with Goldman Sachs. I'm not sure if it was official, but there are Goldman Sachs people lined up right and left around Trump. and Steve Bannon comes out of that world. So there are like more than 6 degrees of separation. I mean, we're like at 1 degree of separation, half a degree of separation. And now you've got this Timothy Shea guy who in May was announced as the acting administrator of the DEA. Wow. Like, this is a torpedo. This is a torpedo to the conservatives. And I know a lot of people don't like Steve Bannon. A lot of people don't think he's trustworthy. He is a Sagittarius. I think Steve Bannon's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's been working incredibly hard to, how shall we say, dismantle China in his own way, right? He works with this guy, Miles Kwok, and they have a show called The War Room, which they kind of ripped off from Alex Jones. But China has been Steve Bannon's target, and now he's been arrested. Who do you think is behind Steve Bannon's arrest? I don't think it's Trump. I don't think it's Bill Barr. I think the answer is obvious. I think the answer is China. I think China put pressure on de Blasio or Cuomo or Cy Vance, right? They put pressure. They said, we want this guy fucking arrested because he's messing with our system. He's messing with our structure. And then the other guys that get caught up in this, they're all part of. Now, I don't know what the details are. I don't know what they did with that money. I'm sure that that they did use some of that for that wall. Now, I'd like to know where all that George Floyd money went. Right? I mean, they raised a shit ton of money for that George Floyd family. When you drill down into GoFundMe's, I would say probably about 80% of the GoFundMe's that are started, and maybe I'm being generous here, I don't know. I'd say 80% of the GoFundMe's, that money rarely goes accounted for, and rarely does it really get spent on the entirety of the thing that the GoFundMe was set up for. Rarely. I'm a bit cynical here. I think it's probably, maybe I'll dial that 70 to 75%. Now, we did a GoFundMe here in Fredericksburg for the fluoride initiative, and we spent it all. And we kept really immaculate records so that if anybody questioned us, and somebody did, by the way, and it's like, you want to see the records? Boom, we'll show you the records. Not a problem. And all of a sudden the person shut up, right? We were very transparent about what our intention and goal and how we spent that money was. And what was really interesting was, as we were winding down with the election, we had a very generous donor that was really helping us out a lot. And he wanted to make one kind of final push to be able to get us across the finish line. He shows up in chat every now and then as Wise Night Owl, and they would not allow him to make a donation. I mean, this guy had been donating throughout the campaign. It's not like he was anybody new. Okay. It wasn't like, gee, this person looks really strange. Let's stop that donation. All they had to do was look at the donation history, and it was right there. Right there. But as we got close to the election, guess what they did? They stopped his donation. Isn't that interesting? So I don't recommend anybody use GoFundMe anymore. I think GoFundMe is, they've suspended people that are trying to raise, funds to deal with the vaccine issue. Like if you're an anti-vaxxer and you're trying to raise funds to fill in the blank, right? Do something against vaccines. They will not allow you. They will not allow you to raise funds on GoFundMe. So there are other funding sites. I believe Jeanette, who was with Clean Water Fred, uses Fundraiser now, Fundarazr. So if you're looking to do something like that, I wouldn't use GoFundMe, because GoFundMe, I'm sure, will be a key witness, or a key beneficiary, like a key contributor to whatever the Southern District of New York needs or wants. So keep your eye on this thing with Steve Bannon. Keep your eye on this. What's happening now as we get closer to the election is that they are taking Trump associates out. They don't want these people in circulation. Now, who knows? Maybe Trump is pissed. Maybe he's pissed because these guys showed him up and they built the wall and he didn't build the wall. Is he that petty? I don't know. I don't know. He is a Leo rising. He may be slightly vindictive, but to take somebody like Brian Colfage out and somebody in his own administration who works for the DEA, that's a pretty, if he's doing that, that's pretty edgy. It's pretty controversial. And it seems like he's draining like his own version of the swamp. We're not seeing anybody else get drained out of there. We're seeing these guys who show up on Fox News, like this Colfage is, he's a favorite on Fox News. They talk to him a lot. What is it, Black Rifle? Isn't that what it is? The Black Rifle Coffee Company? I'm not seeing anybody on the left or so-called left. I'm not seeing any of those people get indicted or arrested. What's really going on here? And I was on a website this morning and they were like cheering this on. Yeah, Bannon scum. Yeah, he's rogue. He's running a rogue program against Trump. Yeah, good. I'm glad. Couldn't happen to a better person. But then you look at who else is being indicted here, and it's like, really? Really? Is it just Steve Bannon? Or can you guys just like maybe open your aperture a little bit? A guy who works for Trump inside the DEA. He is the acting administrator in the DEA. That's somebody in Trump's administration arrested. This is big news. They're trying to disable anything that Trump can do in order to have his strategic team, help him out during the election process. I think this is what's going on. And, what happened to the money? I don't know. I don't know what happened to the money. But what happens to your tax dollars? Okay. I'm sure if we wanted to apply the same standard, we could arrest any number of legislators or senators for fraud. Let's just put it that way. Okay. I think the standards here are certainly translatable, but not necessarily enforceable. So what do you guys think? I do want to check in with you on this. What are your thoughts on this Bannon arrest? What do you guys think? Is Bannon still important? Yes, he is still important. He is. Good morning, Wendy. What do you guys think? What's your take on this? More, you are a wrench. Yes, he is, because you were not on time, Kestrel. No, I'm just kidding you. Let's see. Anybody else? Any thoughts on this? Smiling Steve will become his moniker. There was an article yesterday about trouble with Xi Jinping in China's deep state. Yeah, Xi is having an issue. He's got his own problems in China. All the money that went to Loga Sophia is generally funding the semi support went to Loga Sophia, but there is no accountability and could have been spent anywhere. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see. What else? What else do we have here? Very little went to BLM. Damn right. Let's see. What else? Glenn Beck talks about where the money got funded from the country. All went to the Tides Foundation. Yep. Mm-hmm. Israel runs China. That's an interesting comment about Israel running China. That's an interesting comment because one of the things that Jay Widener told me was that Trump had been put in place by Israel to take on China. That's a Jay Widener comment. Certainly not Israel, but the Bolshevik leaders of or the architects or some of the architects of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia were very instrumental in setting up the People's Republic of China. Very, very instrumental. What's interesting about China is that there are a number of books that are on the Chinese bestseller list that have to do with the Kabbalah. So there is a very strong connection between Chinese culture in China, and to some extent even here in the States. There's a term, and Masaki will if he's around, he'll back this up. There's a term called Jewish, which is the combination of Chinese and Jewish. And when Chinese parents find out that their Chinese daughter has married a Jewish man, right, they're like happy. They're happy because they know basically that there's a very good chance that guy will be success driven, and since it's a success driven culture, they kind of how shall we say, cohabitate in that realm of being quote unquote successful. So the term is Jewish. Anyway, let's get back on track here. This is a very interesting arrest, and I don't really think it bodes well for the Trump administration. I don't. And the reason why is because it's coming out of that Southern District of New York. Like, this is a rogue court. They're doing everything in their power to pull Trump down, to pull down the so-called Republicans, so-called conservatives. That's their goal. That's their role. They've been weaponized. The Southern District of New York has been weaponized. And their reach apparently is quite broad. You know, they're going after the NRA. And I'm not sure if it's the Southern District, but the New York DA is going after the NRA. So these are very interesting developments. And, you may want to just stay tuned. Let's see how this thing unfolds. I don't think Trump had anything to do with it. I don't think this was a Bill Barr thing at all. And I think that they're going to have to react to this in inimitable Trump fashion. He'll say, yeah, I know Steve Bannon a little bit. Yeah, he helped out on the campaign a little bit. Yep. I know nothing about this, blah, blah, blah. And they'll ask him about the guy with the DA. Well, he was the acting administrator. He was really just somebody who was a placeholder until we could find a full-time director. Right. He'll spin it this way. What about the other guys? Yeah, well, I know who he is. I've heard about his coffee company. I've heard about that. Trump denied QAnon, by the way. He denied QAnon. He said he'd never heard about QAnon, or he had a Peter moment, right? Trump had a Peter moment. It was like yesterday, I think, that he was asked about QAnon, and it was like, and if QAnon was Jesus, Trump was kind of playing the Peter role a little bit. It's not like he completely denounced it, QAnon, but he also didn't say, oh yeah, I know all about QAnon. And it's interesting also that they asked Trump about QAnon, and then now we have Steve Bannon being arrested. By the way, Facebook has just completely flushed QAnon pages. So if you belong to a QAnon group on Facebook, your group has probably been eviscerated. Certain ads that were, I think, being run for QAnon products, like Q caps or Q t-shirts, those things are gone. So Facebook has obliterated anything related to QAnon. So QAnon has really become, in some ways, like, the modern Christians. It's this kind of modern sect now that's being marginalized, and Q has become like this almost Christ-like figure in some ways. And Trump yesterday sort of played the role of Peter and I don't know who QAnon is. Sort of denied him. These are all interesting developments. Very interesting developments. All right, I want to shift gears to Shadowgate because I think it's a worthy discussion. Emily and I are going to be mashing up tonight, and we're going to go really in depth with Shadowgate. Now, here's the latest with Shadowgate. Alex Jones had a contract relationship with Millie Weaver and her guy, Gavin. I don't think they're married. I can't say husband. So partner. Anyway, he had a contract relationship with them, which meant that they would provide him with content and he would pay them. Now, I don't know how or where they got the money to create that documentary, which I estimate, and Steve will corroborate this, Steve Crimmy, probably upwards of $100,000 to make that documentary. So Alex Jones yesterday said that he had terminated his contract with Millie Weaver, and she put that up on her Twitter page. And this is a very interesting development, even though the video is on band.video, whatever channel Alex has now to play these videos that other places won't play. So it's there. It's on Brighteon. But here's an interesting detail. YouTube decided, if I'm not mistaken, you can look this up. I think YouTube decided that they were going to allow that video again, that it is no longer in the deleted status. You could look it up. That's an interesting development. Why would YouTube do this? I have a theory. Okay, I have a theory. So one of the things, if you pay really close attention to that video, one of the things that video does, theoretically, is it indicts Paul Manafort and it indicts Roger Stone. Because the video basically says that Manafort and Stone had contacted this General Jones and were using the technology in the 2016 election. Now, this is what this guy, Patrick Berge, says, and he says it during an interview with Alex Jones. And Alex Jones basically says, well, Roger Stone couldn't even use Skype. He doesn't even know how to use Skype. Well, I don't know. I think Roger Stone probably knows how to use Skype. And even though he may not know how to use the IAA analytics and AI programming, he didn't need to. All he needed to was to employ the people who did know how to use this stuff. Now, another person of interest here, I think, is Steve Pieczenik. And Steve Pieczenik has been at the cutting edge, the absolute cutting edge of information technologies, where they converge with psychology. And Steve Pieczenik claims, and I don't really doubt him, he's a very bright guy. He claims to have been one of the people that was instrumental in helping to take down the Soviet Union. He also claims he was instrumental in being engaged in the peace process between Israel and Egypt, right, and the U.S. So Pieczenik has been involved in very deep psychological profiling, psychological operations, psychological computerized modeling. He's been involved with this for a while. And he really started to show up on Alex Jones, just prior to the 2016 election. I hadn't heard of Steve Pieczenik before. I guess maybe 2015 might have popped onto the scene. And all you saw was a picture of him and he would talk with Alex. And then eventually Pieczenik became a face, and now he's got his own YouTube channel. So he hasn't been brought up, but I think Pieczenik is a person of interest, and he would certainly know about this technology. Would he have used that technology? Was he involved? with Stone and Manafort? I don't know. And I'm not here to connect those dots. But we do know that Stone and we do know that Manafort show up in that video because Patrick Berge talks about them. And then when Patrick Berge was in the studio talking with Alex Jones, he said, well, I would have come to you, but your buddy Roger Stone was using the technology. That came right out of his mouth. And that's when Alex got really weird and tried to redirect him and do all this other stuff. Okay. So there's something going on here that is really smelly. Really smelly. Now, I think there's a real chance because a lot of people love this Shadowgate. It's like, oh, look what's happening. Look what's happening. Oh yeah, exposing the deep state. Oh, look what these analytics, do. Look at just how programmed we all are. Look at how Alex Jones is programmed. And this is exposing everything. Well, what it's exposing is that there's a very good chance that the Trump campaign was using this technology. All right. So this is not the last you're going to hear about Shadowgate. It is not the last you're going to hear about it. Now what Millie Weaver has done is she's basically exposed the Trump administration. It's exactly what she's done. And once the left really drilled down on this, and once these progressives really drill down on this, they won't care if it's Millie Weaver, who runs around with a MAGA hat and cleavage. In fact, they'd be happy to piggyback on all this stuff. So essentially what they did with this documentary, and by the way, this information was out there. It was already out there. Patrick Berge had been on a number of shows. He was on Sarah Westfall. He was on that Bill guy. I always forget his last name. He's got the kind of the helmet hair. He was on his show. So Patrick Berge had been around. His information was out there. It wasn't like he was, a nobody that just popped in out of the blue and decided to be a whistleblower. But this became kind of a more high-profile deal, and it became a more high-profile deal due to Millie Weaver, and Millie Weaver being associated with InfoWars, and she had a profile. So it was probably more of a profile in some ways than Sarah Westfall, although I think Sarah Westfall has quite a few subscribers. But Millie Weaver is like a brand, right? Millennial Millie. And Millie Weaver had been to the White House. She had hung out with Trump. She had hung out with a number of these people. What's his name? Mike Flynn. Mike Pompeo. So who is she really? Is she just kind of a ditzy, cliche blonde who wants to be a personality and got played? That's possible. That's very possible. Was she handled? And has she always been handled? That's another possibility. Her background seems to suggest that might be the case. And this whole thing around her arrest and her the indictment, it was a bunch of shit. It was a bunch of shit. And I saw when it happened, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? When you're arrested like that, they don't let you go in and get your shoes. They don't come in at like 10 o'clock in the morning after you fed your kids. If they're going to do it, they come in Roger Stone style, and they come to your house at about 3 a.m. and they make a big show of things, a really big show of things, so that people think, what the hell is going on here, right? But that really wasn't the case. And the guy who was there to arrest this Gavin character. And then he's like, well, you come along too. Go watch the video. You come along too. And she's running around. She's got her phone, getting her shoes, making sure everything is captured. And if that was the real deal, like a really hardcore deal, They would not have allowed that to happen. She would have come out and they would have grabbed her. They would have taken the cell phone. They would have put her arms behind her back and would have marched her right off the property. She spent 3 weeks in the county jail. If you are indicted by a grand jury, you don't go to a county jail. You don't go to a county jail. You go to a federal facility. That's just the way it is. You don't go to a county jail. So then they have their own fundraiser with GoFundMe. What did they get? About 180K. That's run by Ezra Levant from the Rebel Media up in Canada, who I think that guy's shady. The only thing I ever liked about Rebel Media was Gavin McInnes, and then he left. But he's another one of these shady characters. So Millie winds up getting, what, $180,000? You know what $180,000 is? That's about the cost of what it might take to make that video, and then a little on the side. Do you think that was the plan all along? Do you think that that's how they were going to raise the money to pay for this video? Why didn't they just do a fundraiser or a GoFundMe in the beginning? Question mark. And what was it all about? Apparently it was a domestic dispute. Millie's mother came there, started using her cell phone, was videotaping shit. Who knows what she was videotaping? They claimed that it was sensitive material, but who knows what she was videotaping? We don't know. But she basically pushed her mother down and took the cell phone and smashed the cell phone and went out and bought her a new cell phone. I mean, that's really what it was all about. That's what it was all about. And then when it broke, it's like, ooh, this is gonna blow the doors off of all these liberals and progressives. It's gonna blow the doors off the FBI and the NSA and the CIA, and John Brennan's involved. And oh, look out, man, look out! We're draining the swamp now. Millie and Tori and Patrick Berge, they got their swamp draining devices out now. When in actuality, it really looks like that this documentary is going to be more harmful to Trump than not. If you really drill down and try and look at what the guy's saying, he's pointing fingers at Paul Manafort and Roger Stone. And either Millie is just a complete and utter nitwit, or she's been handled, or I'm going to spin this around right there. There we go. Or she's in on it. Okay. And she infiltrated the White House. This is Gemini time. We don't know who people are. That's exactly what this Tor is saying. She keeps saying, well, we don't know who people are. You don't know who these people are. You don't know who these people are. Who is Tori anyway? I think she's completely fishy. I was watching an interview that Doug Hagman did with her. My God, if she had been in the room, Doug Hagman would have pounced on her, and not in a let's just say he wouldn't have pounced on her out of some fit of anger. I mean, the guy's you could almost see the etheric drool coming out of his mouth. Like she's the second coming of Christ or something. So this Tory person is pretty. I think she's Millie's handler. That's what I think. I think he's Millie's handler, and I know everybody loves this Tory person. I know. You go on her Twitter page, man, and it's like a fucking cult. I'm telling you right now. It's like a cult. This woman has cult-like abilities. And watch her Twitter page. And she's very vindictive. She's a very vindictive person. Highly vindictive. There's somebody named Kate LaCroix or somebody like that who is questioning her. And man, does she go after her. If you question this woman, they go into attack mode. She goes into attack mode. Very interesting. So she's the person that is that key, central, pivotal figure between Patrick Berge and Millie Weaver, and she claims to be a doctor and she claims to be a lawyer, and you drill down into her record and she's none of those things. She's none of those things. She's always changing where her, doctoral thesis comes from. And she probably, could say, well, it's IAA. You see what they're doing? They're going back and they're changing my past. I actually have these things, right? This is the perfect cover for somebody who is a nobody who claims to be a somebody, right? Because the AI is just fucked with their past and taken away these things. Trust me, I have all these credentials. It's perfect cover. So this is happening while Steve Bannon and the administrator, the DEA, are getting popped. The other thing that it's doing is that it's taking some of the shine off. What is it? Plandemic, the big documentary that's being released through London Real. Like, that's big news. That's really big news. And Shadowgate is taking some of the shine off of it. So when people theoretically should be really talking about Scandemic, Plandemic, right? The documentary, that, what are people talking about? They're talking about Shadowgate. And they're talking about Shadowgate in ways that they may not really fully understand. So here's what I think about Shadowgate. People talk about the deep state, whatever that is. But I actually think that the deep state is behind Shadowgate. That's what I think. I think the deep state is behind Shadowgate. And I think a lot of these people, in the alternative media are deep state people that have infiltrated into the alternative media. And you'll see that they get very popular very quickly. Very, very quickly. And that's, and not everybody who gets popular quickly is a deep state person. I want to be clear on that. But the people that you think in the alternative media that you can theoretically trust, you may really want to re-examine that relationship. Brian, I got a cat here. You may want to re-examine that relationship. I mean, so that's exactly, if you wanted to kind of infiltrate the quote unquote Patriot Network, or the people that were nationalists or idea of sovereignty, you'd stick people inside that network. That's what the FBI did with the Weather Underground, right? You'd stick people inside those networks, and that they would infiltrate those networks, and they would become influencers, and then they become gatekeepers, and then they would go away. That's what happens. So it'll be interesting to see how long this Tory person sticks around for. My guess is not long. Once she has done what she's done, she'll move on. I don't think she's the tip of the spear for a revolution. I don't think she's the Joan of Arc of our times. Let's put it that way. All right, what do you guys think? I'm about to move on and transition to a new topic here. Let's see. Can I get you? Robert, I'm right with you on that, i.e. deep state infiltration. Yes, I agree. So true. It may all be a distraction. I took 2 years of university Latin, like I said. What else do we have here? Being bilingual, trilingual, open up more doors. I don't know what we're talking about. I said it's a different off top. It's something off topic. Let me see. Let's see what else we have here. Anybody else? YouTuber Defango. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about Defango, and I've looked at his dives around Billy and Tory and Bergie. Bergie seems to be the one guy that is fairly legit, but even he's a weird guy. It's kind of like he's playing this this live action role play deal. Like, he shows up at Alex Jones, and he's wearing a cap that says 45, and he's got this he's got a 45 badge, and he's got a vest on. It's like PFC, private first class. He goes by PFC Bergie. and he's, it's like he's wearing a uniform. It's like he's playing army or something. And like, why can't he just dress up like a regular person? I mean, he can dress up any way he wants. He can play Village People if he wants. It's like it's just weird. It's like he's either intentionally or unintentionally being involved in this LARP. It's just strange. It's very strange. Like, I don't know. I've never been into uniforms. I couldn't join the Cub Scouts because of a uniform. I love the games. I love the activities. I love the snacks, but I hated the uniform. And that stupid little fucking Cub Scout cap. I could not wear that. And then you'd have these guys that would show up at school in their Cub Scout uniforms. And I remember this one kid. I won't say his last name. His first name was Kenneth. And I would just watch him in his Cub Scout uniform. And I would say, man, that dude is so bleep. Right? He is so bleep. That is such a bleep look. I'm like, I could never do that. But I like the activities. If you could be a Cub Scout without the uniform, sign me up, man. What's going on, Kevin Stick Evers? Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, it's just weird, man. It's like a carnival. And he's got his own uniform. It's like, why don't you just wear a fucking suit? You can wear whatever you want, whatever. Just wear a suit, wear a shirt. But he's gotta portray his credibility. He's got to portray his loyalty, right? He's got to have that 45 on his cap. Is he really that loyal? Is he really that loyal? And then Alex Jones, what do we do? 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 How do we change this? And this guy Bergie says, well, Alex, I think we should all just take a mulligan. What the fuck does that mean, take a mulligan? What is that? We should all just take a mulligan. What does that mean? And Alex didn't even ask him that. If I'm interviewing you, I said, well, what do you mean by a mulligan? Mulligan is when you fuck up on a hole of golf and it's like, oh, it's a mulligan. But in the big picture, what does that mean to take a mulligan? Do you think these people who have a vested interest in power and control and technology want to take a mulligan? Really? You're living in an alternative universe, dude. Uniform makes it easy in the morning. Throw it on. I hear you, Faith. I hear you. Faith, thank you for your service, by the way. Thank you for your service. The uniform is easy. You throw it on. If you are in the armed forces and you have a uniform, why not? That's part of your deal. That's your deal. You signed up for it and they give you a uniform. And guess what? You can mess it up. You can fuck it up. They'll probably issue you another one. Not a big deal. You signed up for it. You're wearing the uniform. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. But this guy's created his own uniform. He can wear it. It's just weird. I think it's weird. That's just me. I've never been a uniform guy, unless it was a baseball uniform. Now, I love my baseball uniform, but I never wore it to school. I never wore my baseball uniform to school. Hey, Kathy Werner Lee, good to see you. Cub Scouts. Oh, I remember that regalia, yellow handkerchief around your neck was part of that uniform with that weird buckle and half-ass. Yeah, I know, man. It's like, it was the kerchief and the little hat and everything. I don't know. If the uniform was cooler, maybe I would have joined the Cub Scouts. Maybe I would have joined the Cub Scouts if it was a cooler uniform. But it needed to be cooler. Like way cooler. Like it needed to be black, I think. First of all, it needed to be black. And maybe a different name. Cub Scouts. Maybe Wolf Pup Scouts or something like that. Little Wolf Scouts. Little Wolf Scouts, black uniform. That might have piqued my interest. And I remember there used to be a store in California called Mervin's. I used to go to Mervin's. And they would have all the Boy Scout and Cub Scout stuff laid out there. So if you wanted to get your Boy Scout and Cub Scout gear, Mervin's was the place. And I'd look at this stuff and I'd go, what do I really think of this? And I was young, like 9, 10 years old. What do I really think of this? I don't know. I'm not too down with it. By the way, I had my first deja vu experience at Mervin's. And I was 9 years old. And I'll never forget this. I was walking down the middle aisle, and it was the soft goods aisle to my right. And I turned to my right, and for the next 5 seconds, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Exactly what was going to happen. And there was a woman. She was maybe about 5'6", Hispanic. And she went to reach for a couple of pairs of underwear, and they dropped on the floor. And I knew exactly what was going to happen before it even happened. I stopped and I watched her. And I was completely and utterly bemused by this event. And I remember walking out to the car of my parents trying to ask them about it. Like, have you ever had something happen to you where when it was happening, you knew it was happening before it was about to happen? Because that just happened to me. And they were like, well, what are you talking about? The first of many, by the way. But that one was so vivid. That thing just wrapped its, arms around my 9-year-old mind. I was like, Jesus, what just happened there? I knew exactly what was going to happen before it happened. And that's not uncommon, by the way. Kids are way open to that. All right, let's switch topics a little bit here. I need to get out of here. We'll talk more. Emily and I will bang more on the MASH tonight about this Shadowgate thing, which I think it should be called Shadygate. It should be called Shadygate. I just keep getting this sneaking suspicion that this Tory person is connected to some kind of intelligence agency, in one that's not necessarily located in this country. All right, what do we have here? I got stories. To share. Here's a quickie. You know that you're being moved into. We know that you're being moved into a new state, whether it's a socialist state, a fascio-religious state, or a combination of the two. You know you're being moved into something when they do not allow live music. New New York State rule bans ticketed music events at bars. So now you cannot go essentially to a bar/club and see live music. It ain't happening. Now, I don't know about the tickets. I mean, ticketed event. Does that mean that you have to buy a ticket beforehand? They're not going to let you do it. Can you just show up? Basically, I think they're saying you can't go. So a new wrinkle in the state's coronavirus guideline for bars, restaurants, and similar venues in New York State prohibits them from offering live music that customers pay for separately. So I guess it's got to be now part of the deal, whatever. It means no events where patrons buy tickets to see a performance. Wow. It also appears to ban events with cover charges. And it prohibits venues from advertising live entertainment. Holy shit. You can't even advertise live entertainment. The rule posted in a Q&A format on the State Liquor Authority website does allow what it calls incidental live music at venues that have permits for that. Oh, I see. And who's going to get the permits and who's not going to get the permits? This is such bullshit. This means that advertised and/or ticketed shows are not permissible. You are not going to be able to be a concert promoter. You're not going to be able to run tickets in advance for your own club or venue, unless, of course, you get the incidental music license, which you're going to have to pay for. And by the way, you cannot have a separate charge for the incidental music. No cover charge Forget that. So just tell me now, how are these musicians going to make their money? I guess they're going to have like a little jar there. Wow. But see, what happens now if we go away from paper money? Leaving a 1 or a 5 or a 10 in the jar? Well, that's not going to happen. What are you going to do? You're going to wave your hand over a sensor, 5 times for a 5, 1 for a 1. There you go. Here, it'll be the digital chip jar, the digital tip jar. Just rub your hand over once. That's a 1er. 2, that's a 2er. 3, because of course you'll be able to have your wallet right there in your wrist. This is insanity. Just insanity. Many bars, restaurants, and venues that began scheduling such events in recent weeks were taken by surprise. Oh, really? News of the new rules made rounds among musicians and venue operators Tuesday. This is devastating, said Julia Leone. Leone's an interesting name. We're in the season of Leo, right? There we go. Co-owner of the 443 Social Club and Lounge on Burnett Avenue in Syracuse. The 443 had only reopened in the past few weeks. This effectively shuts me down again. These motherfuckers, man, they are taking orders. There are new lords of the land. And it ain't the people that we elected. I'm telling you that right now. There are new lords of the land, and they are carrying out the new lords of the land's orders. It is absolutely cruel, said Syracuse musician Colin Aberdeen, who has only recently started playing live gigs again. They've been dangling the idea that these venues can reopen, and then arbitrarily and randomly, they take it away. That's part of the torture program. I mean, I'm all for safety protocols, but they have to make sense. Why would they do this? Aberdeen and his band, Los Blancos, isn't that the Whites? The Whites? Isn't that it? The Whites? Isn't that racist? Anyway, recently played on a Sunday night gig at the 443. And that plans for more. Those are now canceled. The 443 is a full-service bar and restaurant, but its business model depends on live music as the attraction. Why? Because they want people in there. They want them buying food. They want them buying drinks. And if they don't have live music, less food is bought, less drinks are bought. This is not good. But of course, you could have the incidental music license or permit if you're lucky. Well, what'll that be? Well, first of all, in order to get the incidental music license and permit, you'll have to pledge a portion of your proceeds to BLM. You'll have to go through sensitivity training, no doubt. No doubt. And once you're able to do that, maybe, just maybe, you'll get the incidental music permit. What a bunch of horse shit. When you look at stuff like this, right, it kind of makes your heart, yearn for the mafia. And I'm kind of being serious here, right? Like the mafia were total assholes in some ways, but the mafia was a community-oriented business. It was a community-oriented business. Were they shady? Absolutely. But at least they kind of made things happen, right? And they would not have allowed this. They would not have allowed this. There was a series of nightclubs in the Bay Area called The Stone. They had Keystone, Berkeley. They had The Stone, San Francisco and Broadway. They had another Stone in Palo Alto. There were 3 of them. And they were all mob run. And if you were going to play at The Stone, your first show had to be free. It didn't matter who you were. You could be a serious headliner. Didn't matter. Your first show, you always played free. That was your kind of buy-in money. If you're a supporting act, same deal. After that, you get paid. And I think in many respects, or that this is happening because there is no mob influence. Like, do you think the mob would let this happen? No. Because they'd be in the bar business, they'd be in the restaurant business, they'd be in the nightclub business. So here's the deal. When Rudy Giuliani, he was a big DA for New York City. And when he was a DA in New York City, that's when New York was going through all their crime stuff. New York was basically flushing the mob out. And Rudy Giuliani was the guy. And that helped Rudy Giuliani become mayor of New York City. Now, there is a theory that Rudy Giuliani was essentially, number one, given all that information on the Gaudis and, Gambinos and all these people that have been deeply invested in the New York City crime scene for many years. They've been given all the information. He'd been given the power and the authority to prosecute. And the reason why is that another group wanted to take the mob out and they didn't want any more competition. Okay? Because the mob was competition. And Rudy Giuliani really pretty much cratered the mob when he was DA. And then, of course, that got him elected. He had a great record. John Gotti, you name it, that was all on Rudy Giuliani's watch. But it wasn't as if Rudy Giuliani was really doing this on his own. I'm just saying. You look at this shit and it's like, the reason this happens is because there aren't any independent groups that have any kind of muscle that are part of the community that say, whoa, you can't do this. Well, number one, you're muscling in on our territory. And number two, my brother owns that nightclub. My nephew owns that. Ask Steve Crimmy about this. Ask Steve Crimmy about what I'm talking about in chat. He'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is why this is happening. There is no local opposition. There is no local opposition. So now the biggest crime gang, the biggest mafia is New York State government. Book it. All right. Let me check in with you guys. The Bolsheviks' lives are the only ones that matter. Yep. Miranda says, we're Miranda, I'm gonna show a image here that may help you. Okay, may help you. Let's see if we can help you out a little bit here. Give me 1 second. There are images of people who have been wearing masks and the effects of the masks on their skin is pretty horrible. Pretty horrible. I can't find any now. There's one that I found. It's not dramatic, but I would look this up. Try to find. Let me see what we have here. Here's one right here. I'm going to show this to you, and maybe I can find through this some more links. This is what people need to know about. Okay, I'm going to show you this. People are experiencing skin damage with the masks. So, I'm not sure if this is going to help you, but, this is what happens when you wear a mask. You see that? You see that? You see that? You see that? These are people who get skin damage from wearing a fucking mask. How to prevent it. How to prevent it. Yeah, you prevent it by not wearing a mask. Right? That's how you prevent it. And there's plenty of examples. Look at this guy. He's all fucked up. So anybody who has any skin in the game, you may want to find some of these examples, hunt around, look at them, and show them to the people that you theoretically work for. And Miranda, I hate to say it, but, you know, we all have a, you know, rubber hits the road moment, and maybe you're facing yours. I hope you can work it out. See if you can get some sort of an exemption. Do anything in your power to not wear the damn mask. There you go. All right, what do we have here? I've tried that. Every time you breathe in the thin fabric, yeah, of course. You get mask mouth. It's really bad. Really, really, really bad. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay, I've got two more things. I've got so much news I could cover. But I got two more things I want to play. And one is something that I think you'll quite enjoy. But I do have to cover this thing with Kamala Harris since it's in the headline. And I've already gone for, you know, almost an hour and 20 minutes. All right, so here we go. Let's do this real quick. This is what the Dems are doing. It's ridiculous. So here we go. They're doing everything online pretty much. And this is Kamala's applause live stream. It was actually meant to be an accurate representation of 30 Democratic voters. They're doubling up. Right? You got this person here, this person here, this person here, this person here, this person here. So out of that, they've got 3 people as 6 people. That's a pretty Gemini thing, isn't it? The ratings around this Democratic trash are horrible. Absolutely horrible. Yep. So busted. Just totally busted. Fake people. Fake people supporting a fake person. Does it surprise you? You know, you would think that with all the sophisticated technology, the IAA technology, that they'd be able to create just like, you know, real fake people instead of doubling up. I guess they're on a budget. I guess they're on a shoestring budget. Okay. What was the other thing I was going to, there was this thing with this Coven. So I can find it. Oh, this is interesting. Alexei Navalny hospitalized in Russia in suspected poisoning. The prominent opposition leader was reported to be in serious but stable condition in intensive care in Siberia after his flight to Moscow was forced to be. See, this is how you deal. This is how you deal with the deep state. This is how you deal with your opponents. You poison them. I know it's old school, but it's effective. It's old school, but effective. All right. What else do we have here? We got Bannon. We covered Bannon. That's something to continue to pay attention to. The Royal Australian Mint expects lowly silver coins to be phased out amid rise of contactless payments. So Aussies, say goodbye to your money now as they strip everything away from you, piece by piece by piece. There you go, right there. Is that a little porcupine? Cute little porcupine. The head of Australia's National Mint has predicted the graceful death of 5 and 10 cents within the next decade. Well, the next decade is probably the next 2 years. Demand has dropped for coin mintage, especially for silvers. Oh, I see. Really, the demand has dropped? Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Just look at the price of silver and see how much that demand has dropped. This must take us for absolute morons. Don't you think? Just absolute morons. So apparently, God, where is that link? Might be over here. I got to show this to you guys. Is it there? Let's see what else I have here. Let me see if I can find this. This is the Harris thing that I was talking about. Yeah. So there's this I don't know what you call it. It's a business, an organization. It's called the Wing. And the Wing is, let's see, the Wing is this group that is a coven. It is a coven that is an influencer. And it was started by somebody named Audrey Gelman. And Audrey Gelman was the girlfriend of that guy, Terry Anderson, who I have some thoughts about. So here we go. I'm just going to show you the link. And Kamala Harris has just been initiated into the Wing. So this is an older story right there from The Cut. So Hillary Clinton may not be in the West Wing, but she's definitely got an honorary lifetime Wing membership. And the latter has free glossier products. I guess they sell products too. Last night at the Soho location of the Wing, the Luxe Millennial Pink Tinted Club for Women, co-founder Audrey Gelman, Call Your Girlfriend host, and Amanitu Sao interviewed the former presidential candidate and newest member of our coven in front of an audience of 400 cheering, cavelling, sometimes teary-eyed Wing women. So this Wing just got $75 million. It's a lot of scratch. And Kamala Harris was apparently indoctrinated into the Wing. Let's see if I can grab this up here. The newest member of the Wing, Kamala Harris. I've always got to do this. Give me 1 second. Hang in there. I got a great video for you that I'm going to play right after I tee this thing up. Just waiting. All right, here we go. Finally. All right, so this is the link that I wanted to share with you, which confirms Kamala Harris's bad witch status. So let me. So this is a Twitter account, and this is the Wing, and these are all the. That's Kirsten Gillibrand. You know, there's their pentagram. Feinstein, member of the Wing. Here we go. There's more Wing girls. There's Hillary Clinton. Oh yes, of course. Stacey Abrams, part of the Wing. There's a little Wing ritual. There's Kamala. She's a Wing girl. They got $75 million. Oh, yes. I'm so happy to be a member of the Wing. Yes, indeed. So Amanda Gelman, do you guys know who that Terry Anderson guy is? What is this? Oh, I got to show you this too. I was going to show you this yesterday. I was going to show you this yesterday. Let me show you this now. This is a commercial from Vistaprint. It is so bad. It is really, really bad. Anyway, Terry Anderson is the guy. He was this famous kind of perv photographer that was very popular in the 90s and early 2000s. And Amanda Gelman was his supposed girlfriend. All right. You guys got to see this. This is a trip. And then I'm going to play one more video and then I'm going to get out of here. The last video I'm going to play you is great. Totally great. All right, here we go. So this is Vistaprint. This is Vistaprint. You know, the people that make all kinds of office-y, doodaddy shit. Here we go. Let's roll this.
This is not a mask. This is confidence.
It's for getting out and working anywhere other than home.
This is not a mask. This is solidarity.
It's for opening the door to a friend and keeping the doors open to your favorite places.
This is not a mask. This is a sign of love.
Let me play this drivel again.
This is not a mask. This is confidence.
It's for getting out and working anywhere other than home.
This is not a mask. This is solidarity.
It's for opening the door to a friend and keeping the doors open to your favorite places.
This is not a mask. This is a sign of love.
Isn't that just great? Isn't that just, look at the comments. I love the comments. Should we take a look at a few of the comments, or have they turned them off yet? Because they were just getting just absolutely torched on the comments. Come on, let's see those comments. You could do it. Come on, come on. Fire it up. Fire it up. You can do it. Let's go. See that woman? This is a sign of confidence. She's on a mountaintop with a mask and nobody around her. Like, look, I can wear a mask and nobody is around me. And I'm confident that I don't look like a fucking idiot. The comments are not happening. Go watch this. I'm going to leave the link. You pass this around to your friends. Read the comments. They're worth reading. They get grilled. Absolutely grilled. All right, I'm going to play you one more video here. It's about 11 minutes long. It is in Spanish. It is subtitled. If you missed something, I'm sure Ani can break it down for you over in chat. So before I play this video, I just want to let you know, everybody who attended last year's event, you got an email. It was this morning, and there is a link to get your rooms. The people who are part of subscribing to this channel, you will get a link, and you'll get the link either tonight or tomorrow. So everybody who either went last year or is a subscriber, you're going to get a link to get the rooms, okay? And there's going to be a process for putting a deposit down. And if you are a subscriber or you went to last year's event, you're going to get a discount, okay? If you're not a subscriber, you didn't go to last year's event, you can always be a subscriber though. You can be a subscriber if you want to. And I'm going to set that up on my website today. Today. It's going to happen today. So the wheels are in motion for the event, big time. And I went to one of the offsites yesterday, and it's all firming up and shaping up quite nicely. And I'll have more news about it on the Friday Farcast when I have Rosanna from the horse rescue operation. More details. It'll all be out there on the website. So for those of you from last year who were asking about the link, check your inbox. For the subscribers, that link is coming at you. I just have to collate all your email addresses. And I have a lot of them, but a lot of you have subscribed since I did my last collation round. You'll get the link as well. You'll probably get that tonight. Okay? So there you go. And I know a lot of you have been very anxious, chomping at the bit. Thank you for your patience. I'm spinning lots of plates. And I'm trying to come up with really interesting things for you to do. And sometimes these things kind of happen in their own time. Flights are still very cheap, by the way. This is the good thing about traveling now. Flights are cheap, especially to Austin. So, Southwest goes to Austin, it goes to San Antonio. You can get to the event from either of those airports. A lot of people are driving. Just saying. All right, let me play the last clip here. And I just love this, man. I just love this. I'm gonna. This is such a great clip. I like to leave you on a positive note, and I just gotta say that the guy that you're gonna see knows his shit. Let me just make sure I refresh this thing so we get the right data. I want to make sure you just got to. All right, hold on 1 second here. I got to make sure you get the audio. My apologies. I don't want you to get gypped on the audio. Like sometimes, occasionally, you get gypped on the audio. Hold on. But this thing is it's worth the wait. Trust me. All right, here we go. All the way from Spain. The antidote to the Vistaprint video. Happening right now.
Nos atiende ya el doctor Luis de Benito. Hola, ¿qué tal, doctor?
Buenos días.
Doctor, usted conoce muy bien cuál es la situación. Ha estado desde el principio, desde que comenzó la pandemia, trabajando con pacientes con coronavirus. Actualmente está en el Hospital del Escorial, aquí en Madrid. ¿Exactamente cuál es? La situación es preocupante, y ya podemos hablar de total saturación. Hay hospitales, estamos escuchando, que se están poniendo las pilas con más plantas, pero ¿podemos definirlo ya?
Pues no, vamos a ver, es que yo no sé exactamente a qué hospitales preguntáis, porque vamos, es cierto que se está notando un repunte en el número de ingresados, pero vamos, te voy a decir, hace la semana pasada en el Hospital del Escorial no había nadie, ayer había 3. Vamos, que es de más de 200, unas 100 y pico camas, ¿no? Es decir, que no me parece un porcentaje de saturación. Y quizá el hospital que está, al dicho como que es el que está más saturado, que es el 12 de octubre.
El 12 de octubre era el que estaba quitando, les ha quitado ya las operaciones programadas y que además también se están desplazando a los pacientes en consultas externas, las que consideran de menor importancia.
Sí, pues bueno, ayer los datos que daba la Comunidad de Madrid eran 75 ingresados. 75 ingresados en un hospital de 1.300 camas.
Eso es, y 540 contagiados.
Pero esos 540 contagiados son PCRs positivas. Es que ahí es donde están los datos equivocados, no confusos. Y en los centros de salud se dedican a hacer pruebas de PCR y hay mucha gente que lo tiene. De hecho, están ingresando en los hospitales, por ejemplo, tráficos, que les hacen una PCR positiva y entonces lo contabilizan como COVID, cuando es un tráfico. Lo que pasa es que, bueno, hay una confusión en esto de que están aumentando los números de COVID. Pues no es verdad. Están aumentando, pero no los pacientes con patología COVID. Patología COVID es la que vimos en primavera, cuando teníamos los hospitales saturados. Ahora está habiendo, sí, un repunte de casos, pero simplemente porque estamos haciendo muchas más PCRs. Y hacer PCRs no quiere decir que estén contagiados, que estén enfermos necesariamente.
Ahí, por ejemplo, en el hospital, en su hospital, exactamente cómo están haciendo ustedes. ¿Hay sí una forma de ponerse a punto de cara a septiembre, octubre? ¿Está todo el personal sanitario ya de regreso?
Como están de vacaciones, como las autoridades, están de vacaciones como el gobierno, es que alarma no hay. Hay una situación de alerta, pero no es alarma.
¿Y reemplazo para doctores, para médicos, para enfermeros? ¿Hay?
Eso no tengo mucha idea del plan que tienen previsto. Es como todo, la previsión que se hace de suspender consultas o suspender quirófanos, pues se hace en base a que no hay sangre en el banco o no hay personal. Lo de los pacientes todavía estamos por verlos, porque realmente verlos no los hemos visto, por lo menos como en primavera.
Bueno, repito, 540 ingresados, contagiados y 70 en la UCI, para dejar las cifras claras. Hay un libro que usted conoce muy bien, ¿verdad que sí? Se titula Coronavirus tras la vacuna. Entiendo que estará atento a la información que está saliendo. Vacunas, Rusia, Alemania. Ayer saltaban las alarmas, hoy parece que no la va a tener a punto para otoño. La de Pfizer, que parece que tiene un poquito más de eficacia. ¿Cómo lo ve?
Bueno, sí es cierto que es muy comercial hablar de una vacuna, sobre todo cuando previamente se ha metido miedo y eso cree que hace falta, porque claro, hay que colocarla. La cuestión es si realmente es necesaria. Primero, si es segura. Segundo, si es eficaz. Y, por supuesto, el principal, si es necesaria o no, porque si resulta que es cierto que está contagiándose tanta gente, digo yo, ¿para qué no te falta una vacuna si ya todo el mundo la ha pasado? ¿No? Un poquito la necesidad de una vacuna.
Sí.
Hay que vacunarse contra el miedo, porque la alarma social que se está generando con esto, a los médicos desde luego nos deja perfectos.
Nos deja entonces un mensaje de tranquilidad, pero yo insisto, porque llevamos una media de más de 1.000 positivos al día en España.
Entonces, si miras, por ejemplo, el Helicobacter pylori lo tiene el 50% de la población española y además es un carcinógeno tipo 1, o sea, dicho por la OMS, o sea, que la mitad de la población española tiene riesgo de tener cáncer de gástrico. Fíjate qué grave. ¿Es motivo de alarma? ¿Están en los periódicos? Es que no es motivo de alarma.
Respecto a la gente que está ahora de vacaciones, ya que estábamos citando, bueno, son muchos. Madrid, por ejemplo, está vacío, podemos decir, las grandes ciudades sí que lo estamos notando, la gente se ha ido de vacaciones. Ahora nos espera un regreso, septiembre. ¿Algún augurio? ¿Usted tiene alguna previsión de lo que pueda pasar o seguiremos siendo tan optimistas?
No, nosotros vamos, los médicos, por lo menos con los que yo trato, que son alrededor de 300 enfermeros y médicos repartidos por toda España, lo que tienen muy claro es que hay una maniobra para confinar a la gente ahora en septiembre, haciendo ver que hemos sido muy responsables durante el verano, porque estratégicamente es interesante y además nos viene muy bien a los médicos que no vayan los pacientes a los centros de salud, que están cerrados y esas cosas, ¿no? O sea, que estratégicamente funciona bien, pero desde luego desde el punto de vista médico pensamos que hay poca chicha. Desde luego no esperamos un repunte como nos pasó. En primavera sí que era necesario que los medios de comunicación hubieran hablado de saturación, de esfuerzo, porque cuando sacábamos a los hospitales a los pacientes fuera de los hospitales, los llevamos a los hoteles, porque ya no teníamos camas para albergarlos. En primavera sí, ahora... Antes no había una pandemia y hablabais de ella, y ahora que no la hay, habláis de ella a todas horas. La verdad es que no lo entiendo, pero bueno, se trata de ganar.
Doctor, creo que nos han encendido un poquito las alarmas. Bueno, aquí está generando sus palabras cierta crítica en el plató. Le contesta, va a hablar con usted Francisco Javier Barroso, periodista que está aquí en el plató.
Mire, doctor, no sé o si le he entendido bien o a lo mejor no se ha explicado usted bien. Vamos a dejarle una puerta abierta, porque decir que no hemos hablado de la pandemia durante marzo, abril, mayo, junio y hasta hoy es llamarnos tontos al resto de la población. Disculpe que sea tan sincero.
¿Cómo que tontos?
Perdón, es que no hemos hablado de otra cosa, ha sido monográficos de 24 horas en todos los medios de comunicación.
El tratamiento de la noticia no ha sido el mismo.
Hombre, por supuesto que cada uno ha hecho el tratamiento que ha creído conveniente, pero decir que no se ha tratado la pandemia, como acaba de decir usted, ¿usted en qué mundo ha vivido? Discúlpeme.
Dentro de los hospitales, amigo. ¿Usted dónde ha vivido? ¿Detrás de una redacción?
No, perdone, yo he estado en la calle, he visto muertos y he visto gente enferma. Y le vuelvo a decir lo mismo, se ha tratado la pandemia.
¿Ha firmado usted certificados de función?
No, mire, por desgracia no tengo esa suerte.
Bueno, yo creo que vamos a dejarlo aquí. Cada cual ha podido exponer su punto de vista. Luis, doctor, le agradezco que haya estado con nosotros.
Okay, I'm going to leave the link for that in the show page. That doctor just shredded those people, and the woman was like a robot, right? She had a narrative that she had to, she had to have that narrative. She kept trying, what about the deaths? What about this? What about that? What about this? And then when he just completely derailed her, she brought it back to, well, the personnel that are coming back in September. At that point, she just could not deal with his information, right? She had a narrative, she had a script, and she was doing everything in her power to get him to respond to her narrative. And then then this other guy comes in. He's going to be tough. He's going to be the tough, hard journalist. And we're going to give you one chance, doctor, to agree with us. And if you don't agree with us with one chance, we're going to prove to everybody that you're a fake, that you're a liar, you're dangerous. And so he just says, "Look, you're reporting the data incorrectly." And he said, "I was in the hospital. You were in the studio, right? You were in the studio." And then he said, "I was in the streets. I saw death." And then he said, "Well, did you sign a death certificate?" You know, that dude was just cool as ice, man. That's how you do it right there. That's how you do it. You know your shit. You're unfazed by people. Just totally unfazed. He stayed cool. And the guy came in and tried to rough him up. And he said, "Hey, you know, I'm a doctor. You're a reporter. I'm here. You're not." Right? That's where his authority came in and superseded that clown that was trying to bully him. Says, now all we do 24 hours a day is talk about the numbers. I'll leave that video in the show page. You guys should pass that around. Just pass that around. It's good shit, huh? We've done almost 2 hours. Doctor was whatever, right? Isn't that great? He was laughing. I know, that guy was cool, man. That's how you do it. That's how you get it done. Right there. He's just like, come on, you guys are full of shit. I'm behind the video, but I'll just say the Q people think it's great for the most part the way Trump claimed to deny Q, then went on to glorify the philosophy. You know, hey, didn't Peter dig Christianity but deny Jesus? I'm just saying. And I think it's interesting that the whole Q thing comes up and then Steve Bannon gets arrested the next day. Again. Just saying. So the man stepping in now is going to, yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. The anchor says he knows better than the doctor. This is how the game works, man. He just completely like eviscerated. I got one more video. This one's very short. It's very short, but it's funny as hell. I have to say. This thing is funny as hell. You know, I'll just set the stage. It's from 2012. It's an old dude in China walking his dog. And his dog's got a nice little pair of boots on. Watch what happens. This is gonna crack you up. Totally crack you up. This shit is funny as hell. Let me see. Watch this. All right, here we go. I'm just going to do a little narration because there's no sound. All right, here's the guy. Here's his dog. We're out for a little walk. Who knows what the hell this kind of technology is? I don't even want to guess. This is for 2012. Watch what happens. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Come on. Get back, Jojo. All right, here we go. Oh, come on now. Feeds don't fail me now. Let me just reboot this thing real fast. You'll see. It's going to need a little reboot, but it's again worth the wait. And I don't take pleasure in people getting injured. Trust me. I'm not a sadist, but this is some funny shit. Here we go. Watch the guy. There's his dog. Dun da dun da dun dun da dun da da. And all of a sudden, boom, he goes down. He's down. This guy's knocked out cold. And the dog's over there. He's lifting his leg. This cat fell out of the tower and knocked that dude out cold. And the dog's going, hey, what happened here? Oh, I know who did it. I know who did it. You did it. Now they get into a little match. The dog's got his boxing gloves on. The cat's going to poke at him. And of course, the Chinese just kind of go, okay, well, yeah, something happened. Something happened. You got to see it again, though. One more time. Cats. It's a cat thing. Right? This cat is up in this like tech tower, and this dude walks by. He's just having his good old Sunday stroll. Good old Sunday stroll with his dog. And all of a sudden, the cat dive bombs him right there. Do you see that? Hits him right in the back of the head. Takes off. He's like, oh shit. I'm sorry. It's a cat thing. And now the cat's like, let me in. The authorities are after me. And the dog is like, uh-oh, something happened. Then he makes the connection. It's you. It's you, you son of a bitch. It's you. How they get it. And the dog's got the boxing gloves on and everything. All right, little humor for him. I hope the guy's okay. I hope the dude is okay. But there you go. All right, I'm out of here. All right. Use your head in order to discern what's real. Your heart to stay open to what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. I'll be back here tomorrow, Friday Farcast time, 12 noon. We're going to have Rosanna from the Horse Ranch Rescue Operation, and I might have another guest join us. We'll see. But Rosanna will be here. You're going to want to find out about her work, her story, and why it's important. Okay? All right. I'm out of here. Bye for now.